Hi, Rainey Bastarach with the American School of Hypnosis. In this lesson, this is lesson 5 of our 5-part mini-series, so the final lesson. I'd like to speak to you about my 5th favorite way, or probably most successful way, of accumulating clients. So the topic is how to get more clients using press releases. Now, what are press releases? There's a big difference between press releases and advertisements. When you put in an advertisement in a newspaper, this is something you're paying for to go in whatever section you want, where you're advertising a sale or a product or a contest, whatever it is. A press release is something, it's more like an article. Imagine a news reporter writing an article on you because you're doing something interesting. Let's say you opened a new office in town, you expanded, and now let's say you hired 2 other hypnotherapists, or you're going to expand your practice into doing metaphysics because you're only doing clinical, or you're going to start doing group sessions. See, this is all newsworthy. So those are all things that a reporter would write about. So what you're doing is you are writing an article on yourself, so a press release, it's a release to the newspaper, letting them know this news that you're doing. So it's almost like you're writing in the third person. Now, why would newspapers want to run your article? Well, it's pretty simple. You figure some of these newspapers are running every single day. Some of them are running weekly, bi-weekly. Now, especially for a newspaper that's running every day, there's just so much news that they could report on. So a lot of these newspapers, they might fill up most of the paper, but they still have half of a page empty. So what do when they have to fill in space and have nothing to put in it? They go through their file of press releases that people submitted. You're not the only one doing them. People are submitting them for every topic imaginable. So they go through their file and they look through it and they go, oh, here's a neat, an interesting article on the hypnotist in town. Let's run this. So if you have something that's interesting, if you used a catchy title, you want to use something that's going to catch their attention, kind of like, move over, there's a new hypnotist in town, or something like that, something that sounds interesting, they may run it. Now, there's nothing to guarantee they'll run it. I look at it as the squeaky wheel gets the grease. You keep on sending in press releases, sending them in. Eventually, there'll be a day where they're going to have an empty spot. They're going to see yours, and if you sent them in a lot, they're going to say, hey, I'll run this just to get the guy to stop sending them to me. Or they might just run it because they like it. And the thing is, you can't buy this kind of press. I mean, who knows how big it's going to be. Now, something interesting about press releases, I've run quite a few of them in the past, and when I send out a press release, I send it out to every newspaper, big or small, within maybe a 50-mile radius of my office. And it seems like every time, or nearly every time, I sent out a press release, I usually got one paper that would run it. So I was sending out 15 to 17 press releases to, different papers each time. Maybe I'd send out maybe one every 2 weeks or so. I'd always come up with something that was newsworthy. But each time, if I didn't get one of the individual papers to run it, I usually, and this happened quite often, get a paper to call me and say, hey, we really liked your article. Can we run a feature article on you? Now, what's a feature article? This is where they send over a reporter and a photographer. They take pictures of you. They write their own article on you. And usually it's the front page of either the newspaper or front page of a section of the newspaper. Of course, if you're in New York Times, it would be the front page of maybe the business or the family or however, whatever kind of sections they have. I've been in many front page newspapers and front page of different sections just from sending out press releases. Now think of that, the front page of the paper or the front page of a business section or whatever section, family section, that's something no matter how much money you pay, you can't buy. That is for news, or that's not paid advertising. So will that give you customers running in to see you? You might get a few extras, but what it does, it brands you. It lets everybody know that you're in town. So when they do need a hypnotist down the road, they'll think of you. When they see your block ad for your paid advertisement, they're going to say, hey, he's the one that had the article run on him. You see what I mean? So it brands you, it brings you back to their mind when they see one of your advertisements or when they need it. So think of that. Send out a press release when anything new happens and send them out to every single place. And chances are not only will you get some of these people that will run it once in a while, but you might get some front page feature articles as well. So this can help you quite a bit. Now I say a 50-mile radius. Depending on where you are, some of you are in big cities, some of you are in small towns, how far will a client travel to you for a session? I mean, if you're in a big city and there's 40 hypnotists in the city, they might not travel from outside the city limits. But where I am in Maine, we have a lot of small towns. If you're advertising well, I mean, there's probably a lot of hypnotists here, but there's very few full-timers. About a 50-mile radius should work out well. Now, not only newspapers, send this article out to all the radio stations as well, because they run a lot of feature articles, or they might, advertise you as a commercial, or to fill in a spot, or some kind of news thing. Hey, as they're talking, these talk shows, hey, John, did you hear about the new hypnotist in town? Oh, that must make you sleepy. They might make jokes of it, but the thing is, even making jokes of it, talking about you at all, is press. People need to know that you're there. Now, what kind of things can you run? Here's, I'll put a sample article right over here on the screen beside me. Be right over here, okay? And let me go ahead and read it to you. Immediate press release. Okay, start with that as a title. When you send a letter, not to be a big letter, it's going to be simple, but your title should say immediate press release, so they know what it's for. Put that on the outside of the envelope somewhere too, maybe on the bottom left-hand corner of the envelope, so that people know that it's a press release, and when it comes to the newspaper, they'll take it and they'll send it to the section that does that. So they'll be in the file. So a title could say something like, "You're getting sleepy. Wake up, there's a new hypnotist in town," okay? People like to run articles about what people are doing in their area, especially if you're a hypnotist from, working in the same town that you live in. That's news. If you're a hypnotist and you wrote a book in your town, that's news. People are going to want to write articles on you because people in the city want to know, hey, we have an author in town. Wow, that's cool, okay? So let me go ahead and read the article. Now you can literally relax your way to health with Raluca Bastarash of Hypnosis Centers of Biddeford, Maine. That's not a real company. I just made that up, okay? Need to quit smoking or lose weight permanently? Give her a call and find out how. A local of Biddeford, Raluca has been helping people improve their lives for over 10 years. She's also the president of the American School of Hypnosis and author of 9 health and wellness books, which add to her vast knowledge and high success rate. If you'd like to make some permanent changes in your life and you've been having difficulty doing it on your own, call her for a free consultation to see how easily your goals can be attained. Then put your phone number to contact her online and, again, a web page. We put hypnosissessions.com. So that's something very simple. It's something that's to the point. It's quick. It lets people know what you're doing. Okay, so if it happens to be this, if it happens to be a webinar you're putting on, if it happens to be a radio talk show, somebody wants to interview you, run a press release on that. Any of that's news. If you don't have anything new you're doing, make something up. If you've never run a press release, then just run one saying that you're in town to let people know. If you think everyone already knows, just say it's a re-grand opening or a reorganization or a celebration. Make it a celebration. We're celebrating our 100th customer or our 500th session. Whatever it is, make it newsworthy. Now, another thing you can do, a lot of people are just working within their own town, and that's great, but if you want to expand your business, or if you have expanded your business with telephone hypnosis, you can also run online press releases. Okay, there are many companies that have online press releases. In fact, I'm going to be listing right over here by the side of me 25 of them. Now, I haven't checked out all of these, but I have checked out a few, so there's some really good ones in here. So I'm going to list 25 places where you can just write in and send a press release. Now, most of them are free, but you're going to find some of them might have a fee. So go ahead and read read up on them, send some out, and please, if you have success with any of them, if you wrote a feature article and you got a lot of clients from it, please write into us and let us know. We like to share with everyone what's successful and what's not. And if you have any other ideas that can help as well, please go ahead and send them in to us. So you're going to see we have a list of all of these 25 different places. Now the press release would be written very similar to how you would write one in your own hometown with a newspaper. However, it wouldn't be a hometown article because this is going out internationally, okay? Because if you're doing telephone hypnosis sessions, again, your territory has now expanded to the world, or to the part of the world that speaks the language or languages that you speak, because you can do telephone hypnosis session just as effectively as live sessions using Skype or whatever, different kind of phone program you have. That's pretty much all I have, and take a look at the online ones. Go ahead and give them a shot. And I would like to thank you all for viewing and being part of our 5-part mini-series. I hope you found some great ideas. We're going to be having other different types of series like this coming up depending on the reception we get. So what I'd like to ask you is if you learned anything from this 5-part mini-series, if you found things that you liked and you'd like to see other kind of training coming up like this in the future, please leave us a comment below and what kind of things you'd like to see and what you thought of what we had to offer here. Thanks a lot for coming, and have a wonderful day.